glad that this office is open. I'm so grateful for everybody that's been here all along, been in the trenches. I'm so excited that all the new faces are here because we need your energy. We need you right now. I thank all of you on behalf of the president. He really, really appreciates it. Not just because for him personally, but he needs that energy. He needs to know that you guys are standing up with him. Yes. He stands up for us every single day. Yes. Okay, so I was over in Charlotte, and I thought I was going somewhere else, and I said, well, wait a minute, I'm just going to be here in Charlotte. Charlotte's nice, but I said, well, what about Fayetteville? What do you know about Fayetteville? We didn't know. I said, I know it was ground zero for turning North Carolina. We cannot deliver North Carolina without Fayetteville. That tough work. I could easily get in the car and drive up here. So I'm here tonight to cheer you on and tell you, remind you, because you know this, how much power you have in your hands right now. I have been out on the road for the president. I got this little button in Iowa, January, in the snow in 2008. I've been on board since then. All right. I'm just as fired up. I don't know about y'all, but I never cooled off. About this president because it was a grassroots movement. Just like you, all over the country, whether it was out in New Mexico, whether it was up in Oregon, whether it was over in Wilson, Fayetteville, upstate New York, people said, I'm responding to this. For the first time, a candidate for higher office has come to me. He talks the same plan with me in my community that he does in other communities. He gives the same speech, whether he is in one state or another. And that was, let's not quibble over the three things we may never agree on. These are some ugly pictures.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Let's not squabble on the three things we may never agree on when there are 10 needs at least. All Americans have in common. People say, okay, I can get behind that. And I can get behind a man that puts women first. I said women first. What I mean by that, you gotta love a president who uplifts, protects, promotes, and respects women. He has that because he was raised by a working grandmother and a working mother. And he has never strayed far from that. He's got 2 daughters that he is raising just like a lot of Americans. Having girls in your household, it makes you think twice. So what is the first thing he does when he gets there? Live and let better. Fair pay restoration. Fair pay. And in this second term, he's going to give you the Fair Pay Act. You didn't even need the restoration part. All right. So I got the great pleasure of sitting next to Ms. Ledbetter at the convention. So, you think of somebody being named, something named for a person, you think they're important, you think they've got stature, maybe name it after Sandra Day O'Connor or Barbara Jordan or somebody like that. So I was thinking, who is Millie Ledbetter? Millie Ledbetter is an everyday white woman from South Alabama, a working woman. All right. An example of how each individual person can make a difference in millions of lives. She just said, wait a minute, looking at her paycheck. Now I'm doing the same job as Jim, but my paycheck is so light. And she was not only doing the same work, she was cleaning up behind Jim and Bob. The president is, he named an act that he knew would would be historic after a regular woman. That's who he is. And I have been passionate about him because he has stayed on the course for us. He has made so much progress, and it's now time for us to protect that progress. That's why I'm here. That's why I know you are here. All right. People say, and I'm not leaving you out, brothers. I'm not leaving you out because we all know when you uplift women, you uplift the family. And when families move forward, America moves forward. So that's what we're talking about. Everybody moving forward. But there's something for everybody. I see all these young people here. I'm so excited, first of all, that I get to keep my kids on my insurance plan. I am so grateful that Medicare is expanded so more Americans can have preventive care like we were talking about. Men, you can go get your prostate screening, high blood pressure, everything. Women, we know what all we can get. Young women, you get your free pediatric visits. The health of the nation was the important thing to Barack Obama. He stood against all odds to make that happen. Thank you. Because Nip and Paul Ryan said that their first order of business was to take that away. What did that say about them? They want to take away a monumental piece of American legislation that ensures the health of Americans. It says not one life is more precious than another. We all are in this together. We all deserve that. Well, you know, I guess it shouldn't surprise us when they make the 47% announcement. But in that 47%, we know our mothers and our fathers and our grandmothers and our neighbors. In there, we know our veterans and our military families. In that 47%, we know our young families and students. And if you aren't in that 47%, you got to put right over the line because those people are related to all of us. All right. 100% of the population and expect to be president. Not now. Not after the Organizing for America grassroots has taken hold. You know, my kids had a book when we were growing up. It was called Everybody Eats Rice. And that's what I found out. I travel around the country. I usually work in towns of less than 20,000. So I live in a lot of communities while I'm filming. I also travel the world, and one thing that I realized, if that book is said is right, you can go to anybody's house, I don't care if it's up high the penthouse or whether it's in a little hut. Everybody eats rice. All right. You can put any season on it you want. You can have some vegetables, you have some fish or some meat. And that is what Barack brought us, is that we are in this together. You are no different than this person over there. And let's move forward on those common needs. And we have small business owners. He has been an advocate for you and a friend. He knows that 2 out of 3 jobs are going to be created are from small businesses. And Donald Trump is not a small business. He has helped to facilitate 150,000 loans to small businesses. So he has been there. He and Michelle Obama have been a friend and a neighbor to military families and to our kids. They not only want our troops fully equipped when they are going into harm's way, but when they come back, they want them to be cared for. They want them to have what they need to heal. And while they're away, they want families to have support with finding employment. This is unprecedented. But everybody's got one of those little things. I support the truth the same way you just say, God bless you when you sneeze. But this administration has put its body where its mouth and its words are. All right. Young people, Barack Obama thinks your education is vital to the security of the nation. Not only starting with early childhood education, but going all the way up through reforming the schools so that we get viable education. Everybody does. Public school education. Because that's what was first established with the Republic was public school education. That's what made us great. It doesn't matter how many people can go to private school and get a bachelor's go there, without our public schools.
That's right.
We also understand that our kids do not have a fighting chance in the 21st century without some form of higher education. So he's made it more accessible to thousands and thousands more people. He recouped $68 billion from the big banks, that's taxpayer money that's meant for student loans. And so what he did was he expanded student loans, he increased the number of Pell Grants so that thousands more can go to college, and the scope of those individuals. One of the first things, the second thing Romney and Ryan intend to do is to cut those Pell Grants. Yes. So there's everything just across the board. You name the sector, you name the profession, you name the people, and he has been there for you. And some people say, well, I'm like 5'6", I'm 7 inches, 5'6", 7", I'm a lesbian, and I'm left-handed, and whatever. What has he done for me? Well, your name is on the Lilly Ledbetter. Your name is on the Affordable Care Act. Your name is on student loans. So, again, we're not going to play into that thing of, I need something that says specifically for me that Barack Obama did this for you today. Barack Obama works on behalf of all Americans. I just wanted to come here today. I've been walking precincts with my parents since I was 10 years old in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so whenever it's election season, I am out because it's a celebration. You know, I remember in that community, people getting the right to vote. And it's something you don't take for granted. You gotta vote in those elections and participate, even if it's about which way the water is going down the reservoir. You have to show up. And that's what we have to let young people know, and people who feel disillusioned, that the process will go on with or without you. And you gotta come on board. And it's not something like the Super Bowl where you just pick somebody and you just show up every 4 years. You got to stay there. I see some veterans in here, and I know all the veteran people. You know how old people used to say to us, freedom ain't free. It's got to be fought for and protected and won every day. Well, now we can pass on something. Change ain't easy. All right. Woo! You got to be that undeniable force for change and stand up for it and stand with it and protect it. Every day. All right. We didn't show up in 2010, did we? No. That Tea Party swept in and put out everybody we could have negotiated with. Left the fringe people there. Well, we got to stand up now.
Yes.
You heard the brother say we got to stand up and make sure across the state of North Carolina, every city, Democratic ticket, we go down that ballot. We got to give the president somebody to work with. With one hand tied behind his back with openly disloyal opposition, and think of what he could do if he had people in his corner. All right. Never desert him again. We're going to stand up every day. 24 days is an eternity. It's an eternity. I'm going to do a little math in a minute. Although my math is somebody got to help me. My math is as bad as Paul Ryan. What are you going to do? You can change. You could have all the states that border. What is it? Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, South. You can have all them blue in 24 days. With your power and your energy, you can do that. But right now, let's just focus on this county and reaching out across this state. But this is the place that it's going to emanate from. It's right here in Fayetteville.
That's right.
I want you guys, who will promise me that in the next 24 days, they will make sure that 100 people will come out to vote? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. Now, when you reach out to that 100, get them to say their name to you and say say that they will make sure 5 people will go out and early vote. Do that. Somebody do the math. That's the election right there. That's North Carolina right there. You know, the first time people around the country didn't think North Carolina could do it. They wouldn't say, oh, they're just happy because Barack is running. But that ain't gonna happen. But you know what? You guys showed them. They've never been here. I've worked here a lot of times. I knew who was here. I know the kind of people that you are. And you reached across economic lines, you reached across ethnic lines, you reached across age lines, preference lines, everything. And you stood up and said, North Carolina will always stand for somebody that is working for the common good. You did that. And I was so proud of you. Up north and out west, people were skeptical. I said, no, you haven't been there. I was so proud to see it lit up blue on John Key's little magic wall. I was like, yes, all right. So this is what you got to do now. We're not going to wait. Don't make us have a heart attack waiting on November 6th.
Yes, get them out early.
You guys have a luxury that nobody else in the states has. You can make this a done deal way before all you new people, I know it's kind of weird going up to people you don't know. It's okay if you phone banking and knock on the door, but you're gonna have to step out of your comfort zone. You're gonna have to talk to people you wouldn't normally talk to. Don't just talk to people that look like you, or you think, oh, that one won't talk to me because she's dressed up. You gotta get all past that. All right. You gotta talk to the one with the pants down here. And you know what? Maybe somebody hasn't noticed them before. Maybe somebody hasn't talked to that woman sitting on the bus stop because her hand is shaking or something. Maybe somebody's not talking to that one with a skirt hiked up here. Maybe they're not talking to the one with the alligator purse. But you got to step out, because what this campaign has been about from day one with Senator Obama, what his presidency has been about, is that we're all in this together. We are all Americans. Every vote, one vote, your vote, my darling, is just as weighty as a vote that Adelson has or a billionaire has. That's good news. So you guys, you can feel great and easy. Just step up to that person on the bus stop, in your office, in your church, in the club, and step up because you're bringing good news. And everybody wants to hear good news all the time. All that stuff we've been talking about. Excuse me, sister, do you know about what Barack Obama has been doing for us? Excuse me, brother, you look like you got it on the ball. I know you're going to vote. Get them to say when they're going to vote, how they're going to vote, so they can imagine it. You know, if they can say it out loud, it's possible. You're just sitting at home and watching the screens and doing this. So we got to help each other activate. But that's the good news you're bringing. Can you imagine what the Mitt Romney people are saying? They're so scared to knock on the door, because what's they going to say? So we got good news. We can be bold with that good news. I'm serious when I say this. Hold your hands out. Hold your hands out. And I'm not talking metaphorically. I'm talking literally. Your hands have been with you the whole way. Every day. You never notice them until you get that paper cut that won't go away. Right. It's cold and you're trying to open a jar in the morning and it won't work. But your hands have been with you on the journey. Right now, literally, you have the power in your hands. All right. Woo! Yes. All right. You have that power. You have to close your hands around this moment. And when you close your hands around this moment, nobody will ever be able to take that away from you. That you did this, not only for yourself, but for your neighbors, for this country. You guys have the power right now. And I know you're going to use that. You can also say this to them. Those people that say, well, I got laid off and I still don't have my job. Yes, this is the thing. We are better off. Do we have a big pot of gold next to our chairs individually? No. But you know what? That's how those people are gauging it. That'll make a $10,000 bet on a win. We're saying when we got things like the health care, when we got things like reform in college and in education across the board, young to old, when we are supporting our troops, we're doing all those things that keep America in a circle together. Yes, we are better off.
Yes, we are.
That's good news. Just make sure when you leave here, hey, somebody get by the door. I'll block all the exits. Do not leave here without signing up. Signing up for shifts. Not just one, but shifts. You know, any of these military people will tell you, nobody's shooting at us. We're not having a hard time. It's easy for us to do this on behalf of them and everybody else. So you have to sign up, you have to show up. We'll sleep on the 7th of November. All right. And when we wake up on the 7th, we'll feel good because we will know that we have done everything we can to make that happen. Talk to people that come in. It's not room to talk about politics when you're talking about community and when you're talking about good news. All of you young people, take it into your schools. Make sure you keep the dialogue going. Reach out, this is my final one, not only talking to Democrats, but find the language to reach across to our Republican sisters and let them know that this is a defining moment. In the history of women. And we cannot let people in power who would jeopardize our right, our daughters' right, our granddaughters. They are not Republican. That doesn't mean anything. Your body doesn't know you're a Republican or what. But what we're fighting for, they co-opted our language. What we're fighting for is choice. They've made it pro-abortion. Nobody wants an abortion. Nobody's pro-abortion. What we are is pro-choice. And you have to all right. Yes. You have to lovingly find a way to let those women know, and those Democratic sisters who feel a little queasy when they keep harping on that, is that we are protecting the rights of women to have choice, whatever that choice is. And they have to know that all of those who talk about choice and they're anti-choice, they are also anti-equal pay. They are anti a lot of things that involve us as women. So this election, it's time to reach across for women of every stripe, to reach across and preserve that thing that has always been women's business throughout time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring everybody in, because the great thing about the Democratic Party, we're not voting because we're Democrats. We're voting because the ideas that come out of this party. We vote for the fact that it looks out for everybody. That's what we're voting for. So when we vote, we're voting for the protection of Republicans. We're voting for the protection and the uplifting of independence. I liken the whole thing to a garden that the president has done. Who's planted a garden before?
Over here.
Okay, so I'm talking to veterans. All right. When you plant a garden, you don't think you're going to walk out and get some salad in 2 days. That's crazy. But everything the president could do, and there are independent people that attest to this, economists, everything that he could do to grow this economy, he has done. It's in place. First of all, he had to treat the soil because it was so toxic from those 8 years of Bush. I love it how Uncle Joe last night said, they act like the recession just fell out of the sky. Our president treated the soil. He found the right seed. He found people of every stripe and every party that were experts at what they did, what they had in common, that they wanted to move the whole country forward. And they say that they put in place everything that will take to grow this economy. And it is growing. It's
Yeah.
taking root.
It's growing.
So
It's
that's
growing.
when we talk to those people who haven't got their job back yet and tell them to hang in there until they get their job back. We will be with them.
Yeah.
There's no cutting of these safety nets. So this is the good news that you're bringing. We don't want people coming along that are just going to kick up the roots, and they don't have any good ideas. They have no seed, and they are not interested in producing anything for this community garden that is the nation. So we must stay the course.
Yes.
We can do it. You guys have the power in your hands. You know it. When you think you've done everything you can do, come do some more.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I thank you on behalf of President Obama.
That's right.
He will feel so heartened to know, because they got the pictures and stuff, they'll show him, and we'll tell him about it, to know that you are on point like this in Fayetteville. And you know, my mother used to always say, when somebody is telling the truth, you never let them stand alone. All right?